2-minute sign.
Thank you. Okay, Wilson. Thanks for your time today, Madonna. What
You're welcome.
To talk about in the brief time we have, very briefly.
You guys have to be quiet out there. Shut the door.
Very briefly, Live 8, the new album, obviously. A couple of general lifestyle questions. The
Okay.
Europe Music Awards. And one more thing, if you'd be kind enough just to use the question in your answer so that we can excerpt it for any international channel.
Okay.
Okay. The last time we saw you was your amazing performance at Live 8. How was that for you? And in retrospect, what did the concert do to help the African cause, do you think?
Well, performing in Live 8 was probably one of the most exciting things I've ever done in terms of being on the stage and being in front of an audience. It was, I think, the energy, the feeling of love and sense of community that everybody had, not only the performers but the people in the audience, was amazing. And I've never had that experience before. And I never had the feeling so much that there were so many people united for the right reason, not just for the sake of entertainment. And it was a privilege for me to be involved with it. And I think, well, as far as I know, because of that concert, it did change the situation in Africa and did have an influence on the lawmakers and the G8 summit that happened a few days afterwards.
Okay, you've spent some much publicised time recently in New York.
Mm-hmm.
What was the most difficult for you? Was it getting on a horse to ride the streets with Letterman? Or was it DJing new tracks in a club? Or was it giving a lecture to students?
The hardest thing for me during my promotional tour in New York was getting on a horse in my high heels and my very tight pants. It was a huge challenge. I was dared to do it in front of millions of people, and of course I couldn't say no, because then I would come off like I was a coward or something. So I did it, and that was hard for me. The lecture I did for the students was fun. I loved showing my movie to students at a college and then hearing their questions afterwards. And even more fun was DJing in a nightclub with Stuart. That was just a blast.
Do that in London for us if you want.
I'd love to.
Junior Sanchez has called Confessions on a Dance Floor young, refreshing and cutting edge. How would you describe the album in your own words?
Well, first of all, I love Junior Sanchez for saying that. Did you say, what did you say? Young, cutting edge and what?
Refreshing.
Refreshing. I think that's a good way to describe the record. I mean, for me, I wanted to make a record that people put on and felt compelled to get up and dance to and couldn't control themselves. So that's, that was my intention, and hopefully I succeeded.
And where did you first meet producer Stuart Price? Was it on the 2002 Drowned World?
I met Stuart Price when I was looking for a keyboard player for my Drowned World tour. Actually, Mirwes suggested him to me. He played a record that he had made called Jacques Leconte, and I loved it. And I was told that he was very cheeky and talented, and I said, bring him on. So he came to play keyboards for me, and then I fired my musical director, and then Stuart stepped up to the plate and he became my musical director, and then since then we've just been writing songs together and collaborating on stuff, and it's been a great musical relationship.
So what was the biggest challenge for you both when you were making an album?
The biggest challenge for me when I was working with Stuart was not falling asleep on the couch, because he's got a really comfy couch in the studio, and I was very tired from editing my film, so I would come to his loft where the studio is and I would lay down on it to write my lyrics, and he'd start playing music, and when I focus on music, it actually puts me in a trance. So I was very tired, and I had to keep suddenly Stuart would be standing over me going, wake up! So, and the other part was actually trying to remember that we were working, because we had so much fun together.
And what did Benny and Bjorn think of the finished track, Hung Up?
Well, I think Benny and Bjorn were very happy about the song Hung Up, because I don't think they would have allowed me to sample their song if they hadn't liked it.
On the last album, American Life, you had a political message to it, and some criticised you for being so overtly political. But this time around, you've returned to make an upbeat dance album. Do you think that artists like yourself can make political change through music, and do you have hope in politics?
I think that anyone who's in the public eye, anyone who's a celebrity, has the ability to make change in the world and to affect change in the world. And I think ultimately that's the reason we're famous, ultimately, in the first place. I think that's why we're given the gift to reach people. I think we have a responsibility. I don't think that it's something that you come to right away. I think it's something that you figure out as you go along and you educate yourself, paying attention to what's going on in the world around you. And I think the more you do pay attention to the world around you, the more disparity you see between the people who don't have and the people who do. And I think that it's, you know, it's our privilege and our responsibility to make a difference.
I understand that Sorry will be the next single released from the album. Could you tell me why you chose that to be the next single release?
Because well, my record company wants me to release Sorry. It's a sort of unanimous, everybody loves it the best. They've asked all the record companies all around the world, my managers, etc., so I'm just complying.
Push, is that about your relationship with Guy Ritchie?
No, everyone thinks I wrote the song Push about my husband. I should just say yes and get it over with, and I won't have to give long explanations. I didn't really write it about anyone in particular. I wrote it about several people, sort of all the people in my life who've come through my life and inspired me and encouraged me to believe in my dreams.
Which one song off the album, if you were to put it on in your car when you're driving or at home, would you think, yeah, that's me, this is Madonna?
The song that I most identify with on my record is I Love New York.
Moving on to your image, you wear a lot of different hats, from entertainer to mother to actress.
I wear a lot of different shirts too.
Author to fashion icon. Which role gives you the most satisfaction? Which do you say the most?
Well, it's hard to say which I prefer the most. I mean, I love being an entertainer. I love being creative. I love collaborating with people like Jamie King and Stuart Price and, you know, all the people that I work with to create the things that I do. It gives me an enormous amount of pleasure, but of course I also love my children and interacting with them and my family. My family life, I suppose I couldn't live without either of them. So.
And your documentary, tell us a little about your new documentary, I'm Going to Tell You a Secret. Which side of Madonna does the documentary reveal?
My documentary, I'm Going to Tell You a Secret, was filmed while I was on tour last year. And to a certain extent, it's about my life on the road. It's about my relationship with the dancers and the band and the people that I work with. It's about the trials and tribulations of putting a show together. It's about my relationship with my family, my children, my husband, the struggle to balance my life as an entertainer with my life as a mother. And also it's about the world and my politics, my belief systems, my philosophy, about where I feel my place in the world is. So it kind of it sort of circles around three families: the family of the people I work with, the family that I live with, and the family of man, the world that I live in.
With Britney Spears, have you had any contact with Britney since she's become a mother? I read that you're organising a Kabbalah blessing for the baby.
No, that's completely false, so we don't have to repeat that one.
Other than your wonderful collection of children's books, is there any other authors or books that you recommend for parents to give to their young children?
Any authors or books that I recommend? Well, I do read a lot of books to my children, and every once in a while I'll come across one that I think is fantastic and amazing, but I have to say I don't remember the names of the writers. Sorry about that.
Would you be concerned if Lords or Rocco were to follow in your footsteps and have a career in entertainment?
I wouldn't be concerned as long as they were prepared and they were clear about their priorities and understood that, you know, first, you know, what is it that you want to say and what is it that you want to do. I started off as a dancer and then I became a singer and a songwriter. I think it's good to start off in one area and be good at something and be focused and study and take it seriously, and then after that, you know, it can change and evolve into other areas. I think I would encourage my children to do anything that they wanted to do as long as they took it seriously.
And moving on to the MTV Europe Music Awards, which of course you're performing on this year.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk us through your memories of the EMAs, your memories of the Europe Music Awards and the previous appearances that you've made there?
In Europe?
Yeah.
Oh, someone's going to have to remind me. I don't remember anything.
Kylie Minogue t-shirt in the suite.
Kylie Minogue t-shirt, so that was the music era? Was that ran a lot of music? Do you know what year it was?
2000. It was music.
Okay, but I don't remember it, so
Okay,
sorry. I remember the party afterwards, that's all I remember.
Well, tell us about the party. Artists, what are your impressions of Lisbon? You performed there, do you like Portuguese?
I love Lisbon. It's one of my favorite cities. I was there, it was actually the last city I performed in on my tour last year, and it was a great place to end my tour. The audiences were amazing. The city itself is architecturally gorgeous, and I stayed in one of my favorite hotels in the world, and I'm looking forward to going back there.
If you could give a special Europe Music Award for the best music news story of the year so far, what would it be, and who would receive it? For instance, Live Aid or Britney?
The best music news story? I don't really pay too much attention to music news. You want to give me a clue? Huh?
Madonna's new album.
Yes, I would say that Madonna's new record is brilliant. Music news.
How do you think Borat will cope with presenting the show this year? Is he a good choice? Do you like him?
Borat? Oh, he rocks. I love him.
I've got another 2 hours of questions, but I guess that's it.
Oh, you don't you all?